Motor Trend just released information on the new 2026 Camaro and what that means for NASCAR going forward. Let's talk about it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, let's get to this article by Frank Marcus from Motor Trend. Camaro trades gasoline for electric-only power. Say goodbye to the Camaro as you've known it for all these years. The next Camaro that will take to American roads a fully electric reincarnation of Chevy's iconic Mustang fighting pony muscle offering for a post-internal combustion engine age world. The internal combustion epoch has been confirmed for the end of the Camaro Coupe convertible as we know it in 2024, but rest assured the name will live on, with two-door sales crashing at all price points, bringing the Camaro name back as a coupe-roofed crossover as seen in these renderings would hit squarely at the heart of the market. All right, so first things first, people are going to be, a lot of people are going to be upset that they're calling a electric car a Camaro. If, of course, Frank Marcus is right here, if their sources are right. The second thing, when it says coupe roofed, that means it will have four doors as you saw from the rendering. Now that is just a rendering. That is not necessarily what it will or won't look like. And there's also this rendering right here, what it could possibly look like this, which is basically just a four-door sedan looking thing here. So from the NASCAR side of things, if you're going to go with something like this, it would make more sense for it to be called a Lumina. So if you want to go as far as the name goes, because I think that's going to be the biggest deal. I don't think people would be mad that they're making an electric car, because every car company makes an electric car with four doors. I think people are going to be mad that it's called a Camaro. So going with a Lumina, Chevrolet's first NASCAR car that was front-wheel drive was a Lumina. So to stick with that tradition, if they called this one a Lumina, then it would stick with that tradition because this would be their first electric-bodied car in NASCAR. But I think the two hang-ups are definitely, I don't know which people are more upset about, the four doors or the electricity on a muscle car. But let's continue with the article and see what it says later. Ford has proven it's easier to attract reluctant EV adopters if your EV wears a famous name badge with styling cues to match. Also, what better vehicle to compete with Ford's Mustang Mach E than its perennial bow tie arch rival? So there you go. According to them, the reason that it is going to be called the Camaro and not the Lumina or some other name is because that name and branding is easier to sell it to a different generation, who is obviously who this is targeted to. As you can see here, this picture of the Mustang Mach E, it is either what you want to call it, a SUV or a crossover, and they're saying that this would also be, I guess, in that same vein. So I guess that's why they're using the name. And the only thing, I guess the only best way for me to explain it here is this is not being marketed to traditional Camaro owners. It is being marketed to a younger generation that wants the same nostalgia or the good feelings of the Camaro name, but they want their own type of car. That would be my only guess here, but I don't know. Using the Camaro name on an electric, just like the same thing with the Mustang, using the Mustang name on an electric car, being a muscle car, using a muscle car name on an electric car is odd to me, but that's, I guess, what they're going to do. Let's continue. GM's versatile Ultim electric skateboard chassis will morph to accommodate Camaro proportions, plugging and playing from among its many motors and various battery capacity options to serve as the ultimate Mustang Mach E Predator. Look for rear drive single motor power ranging from 241 to 342 using presently available motors, with all-wheel drive performance levels from 344 to 2 motors to 1,000 horsepower plus by borrowing the Hummer EV's 3-motor setup. Such a broad range of performance can easily satisfy Camaro trim series expectations ranging from RS to the ZL1. We expect the Camaro EV to cover the range of $47,000 to $65,000, which would mirror current Mach E pricing for single and dual motor variants. So there you go. This is aimed squarely at the Mustang Mach E market and things like that. And you saw the horsepower numbers, 1,000 horsepower. That would be pretty crazy. So your ZL1 would now, I guess, have 1,000 horsepower, although it being battery powered. So I don't know if those markets necessarily equate and transfer over, because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like most performance enthusiasts still prefer the gasoline powered cars because, well, you don't want to have to, if you're going to performance deals, the charge is not going to last very long in performance stuff. We've seen that in electric racing series. That's the biggest criticism right now, that the batteries just don't last very long. So I don't know how much of a performance market there is going to be for that, but I could be totally wrong. You know, I'm not an expert on that. But I want to get to the NASCAR side of this, because that's where I think it gets interesting, and that's what this channel is about. So going forward, the interesting part to me is the 2026 date. That's when this is scheduled to be launched according to Motor Trend. So that would line up with NASCAR sort of from 2024 to 2026. They're trying to do their hybrid motor. And also it would sort of make sense if it's getting pushed back to 2026, if NASCAR pushes their hybrid deal back to 2026, it would make sense why other manufacturers pulled out, most notably Dodge. Dodge showed interest, but they pulled back. Could this be one of the reasons Dodge pulled back? They're waiting to 2026 because we've seen this muscle car looking thing from Stallanis. It's I guess a concept or something like that, but it very much looks like a muscle car. So did they pull it back and they're just waiting to 2026 to gauge interest again, and maybe they come into the sport in 2026? But this basically shows, I guess, the next Camaro. If you just look at it logically, this would be the next Camaro that comes into the Cup Series. This would be the body style used. Of course, we don't have an actual picture of it, but the renderings, it's going to be a four-door Camaro coupe, which lines up with the four-door Corvette coupe. Of course, you've seen my previous story, or maybe you haven't, about the Corvette going to a four-door. Corvette's going to be its own brand. They're going to have an SUV, they're going to have a four-door, and they're going to have the regular Corvette being its own brand, separate from Chevrolet. So crazy, crazy stuff here. But going forward, it looks like we're going to have, you know, the hybrid, the gasoline and electric motor hybrid in NASCAR, and this is going to be the body that they put on top of it. Is what it's looking like, at least from Chevrolet's side of things. Ford, of course, still has the Mustang, and that is an ICE-powered motor. Or engine, or whatever you want to call it, over their powertrain. So we'll have to see, and we'll have to see what Toyota does. Toyota has the hybrid. Is Toyota going to go to a full electric option too? The other thing about this is, why not add an option? Why not have a hybrid option for the Camaro as well? I don't understand that either, but I guess GM and Mary Barra have gone all in on the electric, so we'll have to see how that plays out. All right, so that was the big story. The other stories are, of course, Marco Andretti is going to race in the Truck Series, fueling further rumors that Andretti Autosport is coming into the Cup Series. So a lot of people extrapolated a lot of information from Marco Andretti making, you know, one start in the Truck Series. And also somebody who's making a few starts. Cole Custer is coming back to the Cup Series for the next 3 races. He'll be racing that number 51 for Rick Ware Racing. I would expect, since Cole Custer's driving it, they're going to get the Stewart HAAS, at the very least, the Stewart HAAS setup on those cars. So look at all the Cole Custer fans have something to look forward to. All right, other than that, that's all I got for you today. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe down below. If you already subscribed, you know I appreciate you all as well. If you got a question, comment, or anything like that, leave it down in the comment section. I get to as many of them as I can. And if you want to help out the channel, there is the merch store. Link is in the description. T-shirts, hats, stickers is what we got going on there. And other than that, thanks for your time. Peace. Gonna be an interesting comment section. Electric cars always gets people fired up in NASCAR.